Gideon, moving to you. One of the very important topic which John touched upon was oil is limited. It was the king, people said, but now new oil has came out, which is data. Data is the new oil, is what people are saying. And here you are placed transforming data, making multiple products out of that data, providing insights. What advice would you want to give to people who are starting out or to startups who also venture, who also plan to venture into data science and data analytics field? What would be your piece of advice for them?
I mean, first of all, I think my journey to the company I started now is really telling as to that type of advice. So let me give the quick on that, which is essentially, I'm an entrepreneur and I've started multiple companies. And the reason why I started this company was because, I have a background in data science, management science, applied statistics. And what I realized with my co-founder was we'd always done startups around big data and data science. And what we realized was before we even figure out what we want to do, we have to build the tech stack. So we had to sit down and build the infrastructure to just be able to analyze the data, right? And get the data to the models. So that's really why we started the company, was because we saw that almost everything out there is a partial solution, or it's really, sort of like a stepping stone in the process. And so what we really looked at was, how do we get there without tons of custom coding, without tons of specialized expertise, without a lot of sort of people with hands continuing to operate the system to get the insights out of the data? And that's really how we founded Pandio, was around the concept of what's out there already. We're built on open source technology. So we're built on Apache Pulsar, PrestoDB, and then our own Pandio ML, which is open source that we've released to the market. So for me, I guess the bottom line is make sure you understand what's out there. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Really look to what's already been done and see if there are things out there that are ready to plug and play, right? You don't have to invent every piece of the wheel. You just want to pick the pieces that are missing and focus on those, right? And so that's really kind of the advice I would give, is tons of open source, great technologies out there. Find one that fits the problem you're trying to solve and try to use something off the shelf that already exists. That would really be, a lot of what my advice would be, because there's some great technologies out there.
Excellent, fantastic. So don't try to reinvent. Don't spend enough of your time, enough of your starting period in just reinventing things or coming up with their own technologies to solve a particular problem. Rather, use the existing tech stack and then align things for solving a particular problem, is what Gideon's advice for all of you out there. Excellent. Thank you so much, Gideon. Moving on to Juan. Juan,
can I jump in for 1 second?
yeah, sure.
Gideon, I worked in a shop of 600 IT people, and we developed systems because nobody made systems for all companies because there's only a few of them, so there'd be no market for it. But we always were concerned not only about not reinventing the wheel, but integration, because we had many systems that we needed to integrate. And one of the issues that I see in a lot of companies is where they key data into one system, but then they have to turn around and key other data into another system from the results of that. And so the integration of that wastes more time than just, spending the time to integrate it at the beginning. So I just wanted to bring up a point. You made a good point, but also remember, integration is just as important.
So if I can address that real quick. So one of the challenges, you're right, integration is a huge challenge. And there are lots of companies out there that focus just on that challenge alone. So everything from the IBMs and Accentures, which are systems integrators, all the way to the technology players, which are like API gateways and things like that, connectors, or like MuleSoft. But today there are actually technologies, and we're one of them. We're built on one of them, which is essentially unstructured data goes in. I don't care the format. It can be pub sub, it can be queuing, it can be streaming data, it can be multiple formats, the data itself. You can put it in or give us access to the different systems. It could be a SQL database, a Cassandra database, it doesn't matter, right? We connect to it, and then the data essentially we use AI and ML to then understand what data that is and then bring it in and make it usable. So it's not necessarily transforming it all to make it the same. It's just creating a situation where it's usable. So it might stay in SQL, it might stay in object-oriented, but ultimately you can query it from one place. And then when you're running a model, you can move it to wherever the model is and make it available for the model. So whatever that means, sometimes it means transforming it, sometimes it means ELT, sometimes it means other things. But ultimately, you know, that's the issue within infrastructure and large scale technology companies is they have to be in a situation where they don't care, right? And today that's not the case. You're totally correct, John, that today the integration can take longer than the entire project oftentimes, right? Just getting that, but that's really ultimately the software that we've designed is to make that part literally like you connect it and then it knows how to ingest and deal with that data.
All right, so basically, after calling to Gideon, you can make your whole infrastructure plug and play by using his software. Excellent. Thank you so much, John, for chipping in there, and Gideon for answering his query as well.